Habari, my Kijiji. Hello, my community. Um, how y'all doing? Real talk. Because if you're anything like me, this week has been a super doozy. Um, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in the world. And a lot of it is not great. Or at least I feel that way. So I want to start this week's recap for the Umoja Sprint for a deeper understanding of unity by just simply acknowledging that, we are unified in a struggle right now. Let's just take a breath. And know and understand that even when planes are dropping out of the sky, and when it seems that your rights are being assailed, and when times seem dark, you are not alone. You have a community, you have a village, you have friends and family who love you and care about you deeply and want the best for you. You may have to seek those people out intentionally. You may have to find those people. Some of those people will be right here on this channel. Just know you're not alone. We may struggle, but we do not struggle alone. So that's how I wanted to open this week's recap. I am thrilled that we have reached week 4. You guys are still tracking with me. You're still engaged. I feel like I am growing and stretching a lot in this Umoja sprint. I am identifying some places where I really need to work so that I can build a community in a more intentional sense, so that I can work in a more unified manner to the benefit of my family and my community. So that's how I am feeling as I go into the recap of this week. Like I said, this was a very, very tough week. And so in full transparency, there's a lot of the activities and the challenges, the things that really required me to go outside of myself, outside of my bubble. I struggled with those this week. This was a particularly tough week for me to reach outside of myself. Again, because there's so much heaviness within our bubbles that it's hard to reach out of our bubbles. So in full transparency, there's some things that I opted out of this week. But remember, I told you at the beginning that would be the case. I told you when we started that all of these would not be an option every day for everyone. So I hope that you are picking and choosing and using your best judgment and utilizing this tool in a way that actually works for you. All right, so let's take a look at our week. Here we are. We started on Sunday, as always, with our affirmation. It was sort of the reverse of last week's affirmation, talking about drawing new people in. This one focused on like-minded entities. I know that sometimes, even when you have things in common with people, or when you're part of the same organization, there's still variation. There's still some difference. And I think that is to be honored. I think that that's a good thing. But really focusing on what are the like-minded entities in my world and how can I pull them together for a specific benefit, right? So for instance, you may be part of this organization A and you might be part of this organization B, but there might be an event or a cause, let's call it X, that needs the attention of both those groups. So you have like-minded entities that you can draw together in unity to be able to tackle some of the things that we're experiencing. I think that's going to be crucial. We've got to identify our like-minded groups and organizations, people that we share things in common with, and we've got to pull them together so that we get on the same page and we get progress in a specific direction. So that's what the affirmation for this week drew forward for me. Again, I use my affirmation daily as I go into my Kwanzaa study time, my little 7 minutes that I set aside to do these activities, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I use that affirmation throughout the week, so don't feel like it's stuck on Sunday. On Monday, we had a journal prompt, which people or groups exemplify unity in your opinion. That's the fun part of that prompt, in your opinion. I am a member of a D9 organization, and I have to say that, like, you can't beat D9 unity. We get together and we have a large impact because of the unity that we share. And that's even true when we work as a Panhellenic entity, right? So not just one organization, but when all of those organizations come together and make up their minds. You saw there's some specific projects and some specific times where all of the D9 have gotten together and they have worked in unity and worked strategically to come to a specific point or to gain a specific outcome. So I think that for me was the first one that jumped to the forefront. And then other organizations like the NAACP also came to the forefront. They understand how to get people together. Poor People's Campaign is another one that understands how to pull people together and to work in unity. And I think that a lot of their successes are due specifically to the fact that they understand that they have a single target, that they have a single goal, and that they are working towards that thing specifically. So let me know what the journal prompt pulled up for you all, what organizations you might want to uplift or to bring to the forefront, so that we can talk about those in more depth. Now, the activity was a lot of fun. The activity was just to pull together a playlist, right? When individual people are pulling things together to become part of a whole, it's interesting to see how people's viewpoints and what their starting places are, right? So when I curated this playlist, I asked my husband for 3 songs, and I didn't tell him why. I just said, what 3 songs would you throw on a playlist? And his engineering mind automatically spun out into, well, what's the playlist for? Well, who's going to listen to it? Well, what's the occasion? When are you going to play it? And I was like, I just want a playlist. We just it doesn't need a theme it does not need parameters. We could just, I want some fun music. And he's like, okay, so fun music. And I was like, well, not necessarily all fun music. So it turned into a whole thing. And that clarified for me, or brought forward for me, that you have to be specific in your ask. You've got to tell people exactly what you want and why and how. And that is how you are going to achieve a greater result, right? So when we finally figured out what all it was, the playlist is pretty dope, right? It's only a few songs. It's 3 or 4 from him, 3 or 4 that I've sort of had on rotation lately. And we invited, of course, our daughter, our 6-year-old little button of joy, to contribute. And she's learning about the continents at school right now. And there's a particular song on YouTube that they've been listening to and learning, and it's on repeat. It lives inside of my head now, rent free. And she wanted that on the playlist. So it just occurred to me that whatever is happening currently, whatever is happening in the moment, is going to be at the forefront of people's minds also. So that's going to change and shift what you get, in addition to the parameters that you set for what you want. So we had fun. We listened to our playlist a couple of times. And I think that giving everybody a theme and asking them to share and give some input about the playlist next time is going to be even more fun, because they kind of get what it is. So that was a pretty simple, pretty straightforward one. Pull that together. We've listened to it a couple of times, and the exercise was good for my brain to know how I need to ask for what I want going forward. So Wednesday's challenge, this is the one that it did not turn out the way I thought it would. So I reached out to some friends, but it was not just a hi, how are you type moment. I was reaching out with a very, very specific purpose in mind, and everybody came through in spades for me. I think that it initiated some conversations that I did not expect, but they were indeed meaningful, and I learned a lot about some of my friends in this moment. And if I had not been vulnerable and shared my own struggles and why I was calling, then I would not have learned that little nugget of information about some of them. And so I am really grateful that I did the exercise, even though I really wish we could have just been calling each other to say, hey girl, what's up? So that challenge I will recommend on a regular basis. I'm gonna try every month to just scroll through my phone and pick a couple of people that I haven't talked to recently and connect with them, see what's going on in their world, and see where there might be some alignment and some opportunities for us to get together. Our quote this week was, even the weak become strong when they are united. Friedrich von Schiller is not a Black man. But again, we honor the work of our allies, and we honor those who share viewpoints that can be beneficial to our community. And so he's a musician, and I am a musician, and I have always admired this quote. I threw it in here. When we are working together, even those of us who seem weak or vulnerable or like we don't have much to share, our little becomes much. And so I think that that's something key to remember as you're doing this work, and as you are striving for unity, and as you are putting yourself in some situations that I keep coming back to the word vulnerable, that may make you feel vulnerable. Just know that you are strengthening the whole by making your contribution, however small it may be, right? So this next activity, a unity, sort of an altar, an art piece, a visual representation of unity is really what we were looking for here. So everybody gets to bring one item that represents unity, and everybody can think creatively about what they want that to be. Do they want to bring an art piece? Do they want to bring an artifact? Do they want to bring a candle that's in a color that is representative to them? This one didn't actually happen in my house. We don't have time for that. I am noting that Fridays, we may have to take our activity time to Saturday or to Thursday. We may have to make some shifts because Fridays tend to be really, really busy around here. So that one didn't actually happen, but I can imagine in my head how cool that would be if you did that activity. Drop a note in the comment section. Let me know how that went for you. I am eager to find out. Again, this is a flexible calendar, so I'm going to take that and move it to the bonus week, and we'll see what we get at that point. It'll be fun. It'll still be relevant. It'll still be meaningful. And I'm not going to put the kind of pressure of perfectionist I'm making things up at this point. I'm going to drop the need to be perfect here and just let myself pass that one by and come back to it another time. Simple. On Saturday, we come back to our journal prompt, call out and name the risks and consequences that arise for a family, community, nation, or race that is not unified. I think a lot of times we understand that we have to struggle or we have to strive for unity. We do not always contextualize what it looks like for us truly to be disunited or not working in unity. I think we give that a general covering under the umbrella of bad, right? But we don't really think about what's honestly at stake when we fragment and we don't have a common direction, a common goal. We are at risk of losing some of the ground that we have gained over time. I think we are beginning to see what that looks like. And if we don't unify around some of the issues that we are experiencing, we are going to see not just a stall in progress, but we are going to see a regression begin to happen. And that's frightening for me. So I think taking the time to sit down and really identify and name what we stand to lose if we are not working in unity is going to be powerful, and it's going to inspire you to really get behind a cause, get behind a specific issue, and really dedicate yourself to working in unity with others on that issue. When you really understand what's at stake, I think it changes and gives you a different type of motivation, right? So that was week 4. That's what we did. That's where we stand. Let's take a look at week 5, moving ahead. So here's your preview for week 5. Don't forget, if you need this calendar, you can go get it totally free of charge. I want everybody to have access to this material. flow.page/living Kwanzaa. It's a free download. Drop your email. I'm going to send it straight to your box. All you have to do is download it. And once you do, you have access to all 7 weeks. Now, mind you, there's also a bonus week included with other activities. You can switch things around. If you want to do your affirmation as a closing practice, totally fine. If you, like me, are discovering that like the place in the schedule where the activities fall is not working for me and my family, I need to shift that. You have total flexibility to do that, right? If you want to work through all the journal prompts and then all the challenges and then totally fine. What I have done is put this together in a way that made sense inside of my brain. If something else is going to work or be beneficial for your family, your small business, your community group or organization, then take it and use it as needed, right? I'm so glad that you guys are sprinting along with me. We actually are on the other side of the hump as of now, right? The other thing that I really want to say to everyone is Happy Black History Month. We entered into Black History Month at the end of last week's sprint. So I am producing some content and some material around the theme for 2025, which is African Americans and labor. I have thoughts, lots of thoughts, lots of questions. So I am also generating content and information around that. If you have comments or questions that you would like for me to raise over the course of Black History Month, you can certainly drop those in the comment section, and I will do my best to get back to you guys and to create something that will be effective and educational and impactful for you. So again, I am Shonda Branch. This is the Living Kwanzaa YouTube channel. I'm so happy that you are here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share this information. I want everybody to be on board and to sprint alongside of us. We are learning about unity in a very deep and engaging way. And I hope that you will join us and bring a few friends along. All right, everybody, that's our time today. Thank you so much.